Hello, welcome to the first set of clips in relation to the wines we produce from our Muscat Petits grapes. We make 6 different wines from this. Today we're focusing on one. So we just wanted to start off by showing you what the Muscat Petits Rouge, so muscat with the small red berries, looks like. This is a typical example of a bunch and a vine when we're getting ready for production for the fortified style of wines. Alright, so you see a bit of shrivelling there. You see some also plump grapes as well. So you've got the combination of the plump grapes providing a bit of the juice and some of the contrast to the shriveled grapes, which is going to provide some of the sugar and some of that extra depth and concentration when we come to make the wine. The wine itself, we harvest these, we then will put them in a tank like a red, and we do a partial fermentation on skins. And then at the end, and this can be as little as 1% alcohol, maybe up to 3% alcohol, before we stop the fermentation by the addition of grape alcohol. The wine we're going to talk about today was the wine which many of you who are familiar with this might know previously was named the Walnut Muscat. We have actually changed the name and we now call it the Broken Windmill. Now, this wine is made the same way we make all the other fortified muscats. The only difference is instead of adding the alcohol to bring it up to the 18%, such as your Rutherlands and your Classics, Grands and Rares, this we only bring it up to 14 to 16% alcohol. So there's a bit of a range in there, and we also release it as a single vintage. This wine here has got a bit of a cult following, and part of that was because of the stories around when it was called the Walnut Muscat. Look, sorry to say, lovely as these stories were, no nuts have been harmed in the production of this wine, and the windmill wasn't broken either. But this windmill here actually is on the property. We thought we wanted to highlight the fact that we've got a bit of a farm as well. It's got a little bit more sweetness in comparison to your general Rutherland muscat styles. However, it's also tempered by a little bit lower in the alcohol heat. Some people like to put it in their freezer in summer to let it freeze up and make a bit of a slushy like wine, whereas in winter it's still perfectly enjoyable to have around a nice warm fire or just by itself. It doesn't have to be at the end of the meal, you can enjoy it any time. Like I said, it's an expression of the year, slightly lower in alcohol, so it's a bit more approachable for those who are familiar with the wines.